Good morning. My name's Justine. I had a lot of people comment on my post about shearing. I'm 2 months into sewing, and I had a lot of people say that they were intimidated by it or they won't attempt it, they don't know where to start, that it just seems like too hard. I'm only 2 months in, and I think it's one of the easier projects I've done. Um, I think it seems like it would be intimidating, but it's not. I also just have the type of personality where I just kind of jump in and go crazy with things, and it either works or it doesn't. So I'm gonna make a couple videos just kind of showing my process on how I did this, and what I used, what you'll need. There's three types of ways you can actually do shearing that a lot of people probably don't know about. I'm gonna make a video for each one. I don't have like a video set up. I'm just gonna use my cell phone and hope for the best for everyone. I'm gonna do my best to explain everything. I'm very nervous, so just kind of go along with me. I've never recorded videos or done anything like this before, so we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna flip the camera around and just kind of go over the things you're gonna need to start with. And then this video will probably end, and then I will move on to each type of shearing. So first, most shearing projects are gonna start with a rectangle. This is a very poorly cut one. I just did it for this video. Don't mind my curved rollers. Those I just made with stock board and printed paper. They just happen to be sitting there. You do not need those. You will need either a water pen or marker that washes out. I don't trust them. I will be using this for the purpose of the video. I do have also the iron heat erase pens and chalk. People like to use different things to draw on their fabric. Whatever works for you is what works for you. You will also need coffee because it is just now 4 a.m. and I get up at 3 a.m. every day and I start my day with protein coffee. So excuse me while I take a sip. You will need your pins for your actual project or wonder clips. I do use pins if I'm using actual elastic. So like pieces of elastic. I use electric scissors for my fabric. Always have a seam ripper by hand and my little thread cutters. You are going to also, for if you don't use regular elastic, you are going to need an empty bobbin. My machine takes these plastic bobbins. Yours might take metal. You're going to need needles. I have lots of types of needles. This is not even like half of what I have. But I just want people to know, like, needles can be pretty universal. I have a Singer, so I have a lot of Singer needles, but I do also just have like a universal jeans. This is a jersey stretch needle pack. This is a random universal off-brand pack. And then I have my 9014 Singer universal needles. I use these the most for all my projects. I use a lot of cotton or cotton blends. They also do make a universal and universal ballpoint pack that's like a mix. So you can do stretch materials or like knits. And then I have a quilting pack. So for the purpose of this video, I have like this just scrap fabric I'm going to use. It was from a duvet cover. It is kind of a little silky, but it is mostly cotton. So I'm just going to keep the needle that's in my machine, which is a 9014. something I want to see, it's too early, point out for people is the needle placement is very important. You want to make sure, because needles, I actually have some in my pin cushion here. Needles have like this flat side and then like a round side. The flat side has like all the numbers on it of what type of needle you're using. I do prefer titanium needles personally. When you put your needle in your machine, you want to make sure the flat side is like on the back and that the round side's up front. For the purpose of this video, I also will be using black thread on the white fabric just because I want you to be able to see everything I'm doing. And for the types of shearing we're going to be doing, I just have some scrap 1/4 inch elastic. And then I have my bobbin thread elastic, which I buy at my local Hobby Lobby from Sewology. It's sewing thread elastic. When I was looking online, there was a lot, especially on Amazon, a lot that were like sewing and jewelry making. You do not want jewelry making elastic at all. It is too thick for your machine. It is more like this type of elastic, which is like a round corded, like thicker elastic where you can make jewelry or other sewing projects with this. You do not want to wind this in your machine. It is a lot thicker versus the sewing elastic thread, which is like very thin. It is almost like normal thread, a tiny bit thicker, but barely. I will go through all that process as I do each type. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of clean up my station and then start with the first type of, which is the easiest, first type of shearing option. It's not the cleanest. It is the easiest to practice for beginners. It's also a good way to practice just to like place down your elastic, especially if you want to get into something that needs it, like swimsuits for around the like thighs and things like that, or swimsuit tops. This is kind of how it works. But it does work for dress shearing as well, or top shearing. Some people just want like the crop tops with the shearing. Most shearing patterns are going to be a rectangle. There are some that are like a rectangle back, then kind of a small front bodice, and then you can make your bra cups that the top of the bodice that you attach afterwards. There's a lot of different patterns options to play with. I do recommend just practicing or starting with a pattern that you find of like a dress or shirt and kind of see what you like to do. I do really prefer my thread. I was using this to practice with and it works, but it's not as clean as this. This just is so much better. So I'm sorry the video is so long. Again, I'm going to jump off and clean up, and then I'm going to show you a couple ways to do this. Thanks, everyone.